It's a little before your time, but it was the spot, man. Union Station, you'd walk in there, they'd be dancing and singing and stirring that fudge, and there'd be a crowd around taking pictures of them, and then they would bring out samples for everybody. It was your entry in the Union Station back in the day. There actually is a fudgery at Ballpark.
And it's 2-0 San Jose.
Yeah, that was the St. Louis tradition. It was like one of those things when they have the game of the week, Major League Baseball's game of the week brought to you by blah, blah, and they'd have a shot of the fudgery.
And although the first period was lopsided, they didn't give up.
Welcome to the show. This is
up 2-0 because they win the draw.
Sunday morning on KMOX. I'm Todd Ackerman. Happy
pretty simple move to get the puck.
For all of you who celebrate Easter, I hope you're having a wonderful morning with your family. We have a very good one at our house, and I'll be returning there for
players.
Afternoon
crisscross
cocktails and dinner and everything else. A little basketball, a little family gathering. The dogs are happy. The kids are happy. That's what we like to see.
And putting it
flowers are blooming. Grass is greening up. Things are looking good around here in St. Louis. People are smiling. And the Cardinals won. The Cardinals won a ball game, and they had to fight their way forward. Man, I stayed up and watched that last night.
Trying to get them going here a little bit.
Some contest last night. I mean, really
the second
crazy.
period.
Everything was aligned against the Cardinals, it seemed, throughout the day. They fought their way through and they won a ball game. So now I look at this thing as like 7-game series. The Cardinals have 4 games in L.A., 3 games in San Diego. 7-game playoff series, all on the road. Can they get the series win? Can they win this series 4 games in the league? And if they do that, is a monumental achievement. And I think that would be a great springboard for the season if they can pull this off. They have to win today, really, to make this happen. They would split with the Dodgers, and it would be on the shoulders of Steven Matz to make the start. Yesterday, Lance Lynn was fantastic. That's why they acquired him, to show some guts, to just go out there and say, bleep it, as he said. We'll play that for you a little bit later, Drew. We got to make sure that it's bleep. But he said, bleep it, let it rip. And we also saw him, if you could read lips, say a few choice words on his way off the mound in the first inning after a fantastic comeback and a terrible start against the Dodgers with the bases loaded and nobody out. This is how it sounded on KMOX. And then I'm going to get into all of the highlights coming up next segment. But let me tell you about some more sports after this. Here it is. First inning. This is what got them going. Lance Lynn, bases loaded.
Jake Neighbors with a beautiful little play here. And right there, oh my goodness. What a defensive play on that one right there.
He will throw that fastball 90% of the time. Here's Max Muncy.
Away from Brady Shen. I mean, that's a heck of an effort defensively.
Was it ever? Now Walker on the face-off. Scramble drop picked up by Zetterlund. Soft chip in. Forced in front by Eklund.
Great call by John Rooney on KMOX. One more out to get.
Cap it in Blay here. Comes around now for Blay. Cuts it off. Cap it in. Wheels it back to Crew.
How about that? As he was tough on the Dodgers, and Hernandez has been tough on the Cardinals. He comes back in the second inning. Shohei Ohtani.
Center's capping it. A shot. And that's fanned on, but just about went in. That was close. Now back to Crew. On for
of the $700 million man, here's the $140 million man, Will Smith.
And now Justin Daly trying to hunt it down in the corner. Then around to Cunnin, trips up. Oh, a penalty called on Kapanen.
See you later. Lance Lynn, 4 scoreless innings. He strikes out 5, but he has his outing stopped by rain. Yes, it actually rains in Los Angeles, and it actually rains out a game. They had a rain delay for the first time since 2017, and apparently the grounds crew doesn't know what to do when it rains because they couldn't decide how to get the tarp out or roll it out or whatever. It took forever, and of course the ground gets in the mud and all that stuff gets soggy underneath there, and then they have to dry it out. I mean, it's just a mess. And Lynn doesn't return. I'm kind of glad Lynn didn't return. I don't want him out there slipping and sliding. They need him for the full year. It's understandable. Unfortunately, Matthew Liberatore gave up a couple of runs, but the Cardinals fought their way back. I'm going to guide you through it post-rain delay in our next segment here on KMOX. But a lot happened yesterday. The Blues took an L at home to the Sharks. Somehow, I don't know how it got that bad, but they lose 4-0 to San Jose, who snaps a 9-game losing streak. And really, it was just a bad second period that did them in. And the Blues are really missing an opportunity here because LA lost to Calgary yesterday, trying to get themselves a playoff spot. They could have been 3 points behind the Kings for a playoff spot in the Western Conference, but it was not to be. The Blues lost and the Kings lost, so it's still a 5-point deficit for that final wild card spot in the West. 4-0. They give up 3 runs, 3 goals in the second period, and a goal late, an empty netter. 3 goals in the second period do them in, but they also don't score. They get shut out. Blackwood shuts them out and makes 35 saves, and the Blues lose this game 4-0. So again, 5-point deficit. City also lost. They fell 3-1 at Real Salt Lake. I'm going to cut them a little more slack than I do the Blues. Real Salt Lake's good. Real Salt Lake on the road is a difficult challenge. The Blues lose their game, and City loses its game. Looking at the table right now, City with 7 points in a 3-way tie for 8th place with Portland and LAFC. Real Salt Lake has 10 points. They're in a 4-way tie for 2nd place. They've won 3 games already. The Blues have, the City has won just 1. City has 4 draws, though. So that was their first L of the season as they drop it 3-1 to Real Salt Lake. Battlehawks lost. They lost at Michigan 18-16, rallied back. AJ McCarron's a really good quarterback, and he got them rallied back for an improbable comeback that fell just short. They lose at 18-16 to Michigan. They lose their UFL opener. And then that takes us to the Illini, who really took it on the chin. I mean, just an absolute knockout blow from UConn like we haven't seen in the NCAA tournament from anybody. A 30-0 run as they beat Illinois yesterday, 77-52, beat them like a drum. You don't see Illinois scoring 52 points. And this is what UConn does. They defend like crazy. Their big man, Donovan Clingan, is the only player in the country, I think, that could give Zach Edey some trouble. But those two would have to meet in the national championship for that to happen. UConn is going to play Alabama next. Alabama can light it up from the outside. It was interesting to watch Alabama and Clemson, all these basketball schools like the one that yours truly attended, sitting here like, man, these football schools that play for the national championship, now here they are battling it out for a Final Four. When do we get our due? But Alabama's in, and they can shoot it. Alabama has really something. They have won 18 football championships in the NCAA, but they had never been to a Final Four until this call yesterday. They win it 89-82 over the Clemson, and they knocked down 10 threes in the second half, 10, and they go on to pick up that victory. So they will play UConn. That should be fun, actually, to see who comes out of that, although UConn, to me, is unbeatable. But we'll see if I'm wrong about that. On the other side, NC State and Duke in an ACC battle. That game will go down to the wire. It should be a terrific matchup between those two. And then you have Purdue and Tennessee. And as much as I've loved watching Tennessee this year, I don't see the size that can match with Edey, and Purdue has shooters. Tennessee, though, should give them a battle, but I see Purdue emerging in that game today and then playing the winner of NC State and Duke. On the other side, it's UConn and Alabama, Final Four in Glendale, Arizona. We'll take a break. When we come back, let's go through this Cardinals game for you. We'll hear from Lance Lynn as well, get his comments after an unbelievable win for the Cardinals. It was just push and pull and yes and no and the roller coaster, which may be indicative of what this entire season is going to look like. That's what yesterday looked like. Hopefully without the rain. Back in a moment. Sports on a Sunday morning on this Easter Sunday is sponsored by Gray Bar.
The Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates are pleased to welcome Dr. Samuel Berry to their practice. Dr. Berry is a cornea surgeon with all the latest knowledge and techniques for advanced eye care and treatment in the field. So what do we call them now?
Turn on the monitor a little bit.
Doctors.
So
no, don't do that. Just
his
best
open.
doctors to see for your best vision in St. Louis. You can reach them at
Yeah,
314-966-5000.
so there will be an open. We'll just wait
Dr.
until
Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert
11:45.
Brustati,
I
Andy
sent him
Royer,
a
and now
text. I
Dr.
said we're
Berry
going to
are
wait till
experts
11:45
in the field of diagnosing and treating
9:45
diseases
this
of the
time.
eyes, from dry eye to allergies to cataracts, macular degeneration, glaucoma, LASIK surgery. They handle it all. Doctors Birdie and Malhotra.
It was in your
as
email
well. So if you're having a
Dave
problem,
King.
give them a call. 314-966-5000.
Now the Manager's Chat, presented by Segment Cancer Center. Segment Cancer Center.
Just a half-mile west of I-70 on Manchester. Really easy to get to from anywhere. And all you need to do to find out more is call 314-966-5000 or go to youridoc.com.
Baseball is back. Basketball is heating up, and the NFL draft is right around the corner. Listen to the latest on the teams you love with the free Odyssey app, the biggest sports radio stations.
I just want to make sure they
providing
bleeped Lynn
unrivaled local coverage of their teams,
when he
all
said
in one
F it.
place. Exclusive interviews
I'm gonna
with
listen to
players,
it.
coaches, and
I
team
got it.
executives. Streaming
On my
live
laptop.
and always available on demand. Stay in the know with your favorite teams with Odyssey. AUTACY. Download the free Odyssey app today.
Hey, it's Bill Matthews for Reinhold Electric. You know, spring storms are definitely a coming, right? Don't get left in the dark. Reinhold Electric is here to help. Of course, they have 24/7 emergency service, but if you're thinking about a backup generator, like an inline one that comes on when the power goes out, Reinhold Electric is absolutely who you want to call. Be prepared for the spring storm. Call Reinhold Electric today. 314-631-1158. Online at reinholdelectric.com. Wherever you hear my voice, Reinhold Electric is going to keep you electrified.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been hurt on the job, you don't need the biggest law firm. You need the best. Onderlaw, voted 2023's best law firm in St. Louis, is the insurance company playing games, trying to deny the medical treatment you need, refusing to pay your lost wages. Let Onderlaw fight for the benefits you deserve. Injured on the job? Call Onderlaw for free. 314 or 618-9-million. That's 314 or 618-900.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
"You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa."
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist. Ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at your Heart Comes First. That's yourheartcomesfirst.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Tired of those pesky moments when you're streaming your favorite shows? Well, say hello to i3 Broadband, 100% fiber optic network with parental controls. You can manage your kids' screen time, filter content, and keep an eye on their online adventures, all with no annual contracts or hidden fees. Just insanely fast internet and a no-risk 30-day money-back guarantee. Call 877-976-0711 or log on to i3broadband.com/STL. We're local, reliable, and proud to serve St. Louis.
Spring cleaning is upon us, but there's one meaningful box that you don't throw away when cleaning out your closet. It's the box filled with your family's important videotapes, film reels, and photos. Hi, I'm Adam Baselogger.
And I'm Nick Mako. We started Legacy Box over a decade ago to help families organize and update their analog media to digital.
Legacy Box is simple and easy. It works and is safe. Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box.
And Legacy Box has been featured in Good Housekeeping.
This will be a
Today
Cardinal
Show,
segment.
Rachel Ray.
Legacy Box is like magic.
And then at 10:30, we were going to have Brian Barnhart, the voice of the Illini, but they just took off
Declutter
from
your
Boston,
closet by
so
digitizing your media.
just
Become
do
more
a
organized and
rundown of
accomplished,
men's
knowing
and
your
women's
family's
college
recorded past is
Ben
safe
Zimmerman
forever.
joins
Take
us
advantage of our
at
spring
10:45
cleaning
to
sale
talk
going on now. It's the
college
easiest
hockey.
task to check off your to-do list.
For a limited time, you can get started for just $9 a tape. Visit legacybox.com/value to get our $9 sale. That's legacybox.com/value to get our $9 offer. legacybox.com/value.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar.
Here comes a highlight.
Datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Here's Lynn's pitch with the bases loaded. A swing and a miss. How about that? Teoscar Hernandez strikes out after 3 consecutive hits. Lynn struck out the side.
An emotional Lance Lynn storming off the field as the Cardinals get that 3 strikeout performance from Lance in the first inning. You heard that last segment. You also heard this, but it's worth playing again. Shohei.
The 3-2 pitch. Runner goes from first. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Lance Lynn with his 4th strikeout.
Lance Lynn, what a performance. 4 scoreless innings, strikes out 5. Then the rain came down, and that really put a damper on things because the Cardinals were starting to run. They had a little something going. They had more than a little something going, with Lynn performing extremely well, and the Cardinals, who were down 1-0 in the 5th inning on a Freddie Freeman base hit to drive in Mookie Betts, made it 1-0. That was off of Matthew Liberatore. Here comes Will Smith, who we heard earlier striking out against Lynn in his first at bat.
1-0 Dodgers. The pitch, that's hit hard, left field. That ball gets down and rolls all the way to Donovan as a run scores. The throw comes to third base and is backed up by Liberatore. And into second, Will Smith. 2-0 Dodgers, and the 2 walks have scored.
So here they go again, right? Well, not so fast. The Cardinals in the 5th inning, this happens.
The pitch, a swing, and there's a high fly ball to right field. Burleson waits for it to come down. Freeman tags at third. Burleson makes the catch. Here comes the throw, in and out at the plate. Burleson throws out Freddie Freeman. That's a double play, and that's the inning, and the Dodgers are saying, hold on. They want to check it out. Nate Tomlinson called Freeman out on the strong throw by Burleson.
Now, there will be no hold on. That is 2 outs, and that's it for you, Dodgers, in the 5th inning. 6th inning, the Cardinals go out 1-2-3. So we head to the bottom of the 6th, and the Dodgers this time get called out on strikes. And so Matthew Liberatore, who comes roaring back after a rough start to this one, you heard the highlights, he's able to get a little something going here. You heard what I said about Lance Lynn. He goes 4 innings, scoreless, and strikes out 5. Well, Libby, although he got off to the bumpy start, does go 2 innings, strikes out 2, and the Cardinals are through 6 innings, still in a 2-0 game. I do think that's important, that you had Lynn and then Liberatore able to at least keep the thing somewhat manageable and not let it get out of control. Even though he gave up the 2 runs in the 5th, he redeems himself in the 6th inning. So that's where we are currently. It's the 6th inning, and the Cardinals are trailing 2-0 to the Dodgers. Let's advance now to the top of the 7th inning. The Cardinals are down again 2-0, and they somehow find the bases loaded against former Cardinal Joe Kelly. And for some reason, the Dodgers don't take Joe Kelly out of the game. I really don't understand why you just leave him in there hanging out to dry, but the Cardinals will take it. But he clearly had no control on his fastball. I mean, it's all over the place. He walks Gorman, then he hits Arenado in the shoulder with a pitch. So it's first and second, nobody out. Arenado hits the deck. I'm very nervous when I see that, but he gets up, kind of, rubs it up, rubs a little dirt on it, and he's at first base. Matt Carpenter then is at the plate and reaches on a catcher's interference. Here's the call.
Starters are out. It's a bullpen game now, and the first pitch to Carpenter is fouled back, and that hit the glove of the catcher, and it's going to be catcher's interference. So another break for the Cardinals. The glove came flying off the hand of the catcher, Will Smith, and Carpenter started heading to first base, and on the foul ball, the Cardinals get more than that. It's a catcher's interference call, and those are happening more and more and more. And not only did he hit the glove, he knocked it right off the hand of Smith.
Yeah, Smith stuck his mitt out there and got it knocked off, and it's catcher's interference. Bases loaded. Nobody. This could have been a monster moment for the Cardinals, and I think on any other day, this ball goes out of the ballpark for a grand slam. Take a listen.
The 0-2 pitch to him is hit high in the air to deep center field, and backing up is Outman. He makes the play on the warning track. Tagging and scoring is Gorman. Headed to third is Arenado, and the Cardinals are on the board. Sacrifice fly RBI for Herrera, and it's 2-1 Dodgers.
Herrera's upset though. I think he thought he got it, and so did I. I thought that ball was going to go out, but it ends up being 1 run. It's an RBI, and the next batter is Alec Burleson.
Heading the count 2-1, and the pitch to him, and that's hit sharply to right. Base hit for Burleson, and the Cardinals are going to tie it. Scoring is Arenado. We are tied at 2 here in the 7th inning, and Alec Burleson's base hit to right, his second hit of this ball game.
Cardinals are battling, and so is Joe Kelly. He's laboring, I would say, out there. Here's Brandon Crawford.
Crawford a chance to give the Cardinals the lead. The pitch to him, grounded ball right side, base hit into right field. Carpenter rounds third, and he's going to be held there. Strong throw in from Jason Hayward. And I think the right move by Pop Warner not to send Matt Carpenter there. But Crawford gets his first hit as a Cardinal, and he loads the bases, and there's still just one out.
He's been tough on the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium as a Giant. He continues it as a Cardinal. So it's a 2-2 game, and here's the weird play now. Take a listen to this. The batter is Victor Scott.
3-1 the count to Victor Scott, and the pitch is hit in the air to left field. Line drive to left. Carpenter with a base running mistake, and he has to get back to third base. My goodness. He had gone halfway there, but now they're going to let him score. Was this another catcher's interference? Carpenter scores, and the Dodgers are confused about what happened there. Brendan Donovan is at the plate. He's not sure what happened. I bet they called a balk on Joe
I'm
Kelly.
thinking.
It must have been a balk. Carpenter knew that, and that's why he wasn't tagging up. That's why I thought it was a base running mistake, but the balk was called on Joe Kelly, and the Cardinals have taken the lead in the oddest of ways.
Great recognition there from Ricky. It is a balk. It is 3-2, and Scott is able to continue to bat. Then he pops out in foul territory. So there's 2 away. It's on the shoulders of Brendan Donovan. Cards up 3-2.
1-0 pitch is hit sharply down the right field line, and it's fair. And it bounces into the seats. The Cardinals score 2 more on the double by Brendan Donovan, and it's now 5-2 St. Louis.
After all that, the Cardinals with 5 runs in the 7th inning, they lead it 5-2, and they are going to run away with this game, right? No, it is the Dodgers after all, and Mookie Betts doubles to left to start things off in the 7th. Here we go again. Shohei Ohtani.
Slider is hit in the air to the right side. Long way to run for everybody. And it's Ciani who makes the play on the dive. What a play. He was sliding, and he reached out to his right and caught the baseball and somehow managed to not run into Nolan Gorman. That was not an easy play at all by Ciani.
Tremendous catch by Ciani. He was one of the Cardinals' best defensive outfielders, and if not the best, he and Scott makes a great play. And the Cardinals, with that soggy outfield, get an out of Ohtani. Anytime you get Ohtani out is a big deal. Then they strike out Freddie Freeman, and there are 2 gone for Will Smith.
Swinging a line drive to left field. That's going to drop for a hit. Dodgers are going to pick up a run. Donovan has it, gets it into second base, and Will Smith with the second hit of the game drives in his 3rd run of the season, and it's now 5-3 Cardinals.
Yes, indeed. So that's a big run right there, 5-3. So the game is once again manageable for the Dodgers after the great catch by Ciani and the strikeout of Freeman. The Dodgers strike again with Smith this time delivering. He gets that off JoJo Romero, and it is a 5-3 ball game. And then Romero comes right back. He strikes out Max Muncy, which is a huge K, to get out of the inning and keep it a 5-3 game. Big. Now we go to the 9th, and in the 8th, Andrew Kittredge. I shouldn't pass him over because he went 1-2-3 on the Dodgers in the 8th inning, retired them in order. The Cardinals are retired in order in the top of the 9th. Now we're in the bottom of the 9th. It's in the middle of the night, and most of you are sleeping, but this is where it stands. Ryan Helsley is pitching. Gavin Lux pops out. That's 1 out. Here comes Mookie Betts again. Somebody please slow him down.
The pitch to Betts. He swings and hits that one deep. Left center field, back to the track near the wall. It's gone. A home run for Betts, his 4th of the season. 5-4 Cardinals with 1 out in the 9th.
Helsley, now up just a run, has to face Ohtani.
The 1-2 pitch. Ohtani swings and goes down on strikes. A foul tip that Herrera holds.
That is enormous for Helsley. Unfortunately, he runs into trouble. Remember, Betts is standing at second base. 2 outs, Max Muncy.
Muncy at the plate. Helsley with the 1-2 pitch with 2 down in the 9th inning. Here it comes. A swing and a line drive into center field. A base hit. Freeman scores the tying run. Smith to third. The throw is cut off. And we're tied at 5. Twice the Dodgers were down to their last strike. And they got hits.
I said Betts, of course. It was Freeman who was standing on second base after the base hit. He is there at second base after the Smith hit, and Muncie delivers with the base hit to tie the game at 5 and a blown save for Ryan Helsley. So the 10th inning, the rule is you put a runner at second base. That runner is Victor Scott. The Cardinals have Brendan Donovan grounds out. That sends Scott to third. They've got a chance to drive a run home, and here it is.
Hurt comes set. The 2-2 pitch to the Cardinal first baseman is a hit on the ground left side, and Scott's going to score. A throw to first base. They get Goldie, but a good jump off a third by Victor Scott the second, and the Cardinals take the lead here in the 10th inning by a score of 6-5.
They have to hold that lead in the bottom of the 10th, and the pitcher is Giovanni Gallegos. Buckle your seatbelts. James Outman is the first batter.
Delay in the length of the game. The pitch is swung on and missed. He struck him out. Big strikeout for Gio as Outman swung over the top of that pitch.
Next one, former Cardinal Jason Hayward.
Payoff pitch coming up to Hayward from Gio, and it swung on and missed. He struck him out. Back-to-back strikeouts for Giovanni Gallegos.
Then Gavin Lux with a base hit. He reaches, and that puts the runner at second base, Chris Taylor. Remember, they start with a pinch runner at third. So a chance to tie here. And, oh, no, it's Mookie Betts. He walks, and the last chance for the Dodgers is none other than the MVP himself, Shohei Ohtani. Bases loaded.
One-run game, winning runs at second base. And the pitch to Ohtani is popped up, middle of the infield. Crawford backs up. He's on the grass. He's under it. And he makes the play, and the Cardinals win it. The Cardinals win it. Their first victory of 2024. Giovanni Gallegos and Ivan Herrera celebrating halfway between home and the pitcher's mound, and the Cardinals can shake hands.
Wow, what a game. 3 hours and 17 minutes with a 35-minute rain delay. The Cardinals beat the Dodgers. Final score 6-5 in 10 innings. Lance Lynn.
It was a lot of fun. First game of the year, you're just trying to, ease your way into it. This is not the lineup for that, Loaded the bases up. We had to see if the old dog still had it. He still does, so we're all right. So, but all in all, my stuff felt good. And when you first start, you get miss a little bit here and there, and I was able to correct and not give up a big inning.
So your takeaway is, I'm sorry, What about showing the emotion too? Because Oli pointed out that he loves that. That's kind of one of the reasons they wanted Lance Lynn is to bring someone.
Yeah, if you strike out the side after loading the bases and you don't show any emotion, then we might need to check the pulse.
But you showed a lot of them.
Yeah, that's what this game's all about, right? Let the kids play.
Good did it feel to let that emotion pour out after you got out of the first inning? You kind of screamed in the air a little bit. How good did that feel?
Feel great. That's kind of what I do, though. So, obviously you don't want to load up the bases, especially against this lineup, and I was able to get away with it tonight.
Do you sense how your fire is contagious for the rest of the team? Oli said he can see it, the team kind of taking on your persona.
You come, do your thing, and you're the same guy every day. That's kind of the way it works, but you still got to perform. So, I was able to get out of it, and then, the offense started chipping away. Bullpen came in and did their job after the rain delay, so it was a good team win tonight, and then we're on to tomorrow, hopefully to, even up the series.
You take some pride in the fact that your veteran guy, season got off the start 0-2, and it's a really good team that you can go out there and perform.
Yeah, when you're looking at this group that we have right now, we got a good group, but we're a little banged up too. We got some guys that aren't here, but they've got their full squad, and we knew what we were coming into. Home opener to the team that's favored to win the World Series, so you knew what you were expecting. So we figured out how to win tonight. If we figure out how to win tomorrow, when you leave here with the 2-2 series, you're in a good spot. So we got a chance.
We'll have the game tonight. The Cardinals and the Dodgers from Dodger Stadium. We'll have a Sunday night game for you on this Easter Sunday. It starts at 6:10, pregame at 5:15. As Lynn said, the Cardinals are banged up. They have a number of people out, 6 of them, in fact. You're looking at 3 outfielders, 3 potential starting outfielders in Nootbaar, Edman, and Carlson. None of them appear that close. Nootbaar the closest of the 3. The other 2, Edman and Carlson, are going to be down for a while. You got 3 pitchers. Sonny Gray, who's going to come back soon here. He's going to pitch AAA Memphis on Wednesday. Keenan Middleton, who's going to be out for a little while, although maybe not as bad of an injury as once feared. And Drew Rom dealing with a biceps injury. But the Cardinals, with a win, can even this series and split it 2-2 tonight. We'll come back, talk about the NCAA Tournament. John Mozeliak joins us at 11:30. Oli Marmol at 11:45. You're listening to Sports on a Sunday morning on KMOX.
Spring into your next project with a first-line home equity loan from First Community. Apply by April 30th and get an amazing introductory rate of 5.95% APR for the first 12 months. And there is no application fee and no closing fees, only at First Community. $1 share deposit required. Must qualify for membership. Subject to credit approval. Offer does not include refinances on First Community loans. Call 888-642-7969 for terms and conditions.
Life is challenging and ever-changing. Take control with passive income through real estate investing. Learn how. Learn now. Let Dell Walmsley and Lifestyles investors and mentors show you. Meet Dell's team live in St. Louis 2 days
we'll do a
a
little
week.
March Madness just for
Saturday and
a few minutes,
Sunday,
and
April
we'll
27th and 28th. Register now at GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. That's GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Enter promo code 2024 for a special discount offer. GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Code 2024.
KMOX Weekend at your service. Sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation.
Hun, this 10-year-old light bulb fizzled.
For just 5 years.
Jerry Kelly said families spent double the normal time at home the last few years.
Us, 10 years of light bulbing in just 5. Same's probably true for all our home gizmos.
Tell him, Sherlock.
Peoples, if it's been a few since your last furnace or AC check and you're like most, then it might behoove you to schedule a check-em-up sooner than later.
In case what behooves you actually moves you, that is.
JerryKelly.com. It's perfectly normal to buy new things.
In fact, it's fun.
And that's how we accumulate old, worn-out things.
Not fun.
Clutter and junk collected corners and piles.
You didn't make a breath here, right?
In closets
I did not.
and sheds.
And in garages.
Boy, does junk gather in garages.
The average garage is a convention center for junk.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do
Julie always picks
You're going to get a brand new garage.
You're going to get a bunch of new closets.
You're going to get a new shed.
You're going to find space you didn't know you had.
Best of all, you're going to get fresh air freedom.
All you have to do is point.
You're about to have a big home.
A happy home.
Where you can fill your lungs with fresh air.
Freedom. What you need is freedom.
You're going to laugh and smile.
You're going to dance and sing.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOTJUNK.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids, no matter where you are. Call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe.
I actually
to the
didn't read the
IRS.
story yet,
There
but I
is
know
zero
basically
risk
what
to
it's
you.
about.
If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals
I'll
fix
sit
their
down and read
IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back to the show. Upcoming guest, Chris Zimmerman, CEO of the Blues, in just about 5 minutes at 10:45. We'll also hear from Lutz Pfannenstiel, sporting director at City, John Mozeliak, president of baseball operations for the Cardinals, Cardinals manager Oliver Marmol as well. He'll be at 11:45. Let's look ahead to what's on schedule for today in the NCAA Tournament. You have Tennessee and Purdue. Purdue featuring Zach Edey, who is the player of the year in my book, and I'm sure everybody else. But, you know, there's a big star in this game in Dalton Knecht. Knecht plays for second-seeded Tennessee, and if you don't know who he is, you're going to find out today. He is one of the biggest stars in the country, and he has a chance to put Tennessee into the Final Four. Those are the top 2 vote-getters on the men's AP All-America team, Edey and Knecht. They'll face off today when Purdue plays at 1:20 against Tennessee. I don't think Tennessee has enough to stop Edey. When you do try to double him or get physical with him, he'll either draw a foul or he'll kick it out to one of his shooters or slashers, and they can shoot and slash. Believe me, this Purdue team is great. I think the only team that could really knock Purdue out here is UConn in the national championship. UConn has the big man Donovan Clingan. They have, as Illinois fans will tell you right away, they have scorers galore, and they can defend like crazy. But we'll get there when we get there. The other game is NC State and Duke. John Shire, the head coach of the Blue Devils, was so impressed by NC State's 5 wins in as many days that he reached out to Kevin Keats, the head coach of the Wolfpack. And then, as it turns out, they're going to play each other. That was a win over the Blue Devils, was part of that 5-5 for NC State. They had to win that tournament just to get into the NCAA tournament. Now here they are meeting each other about 1,200 miles from Tobacco Road in Dallas. The teams have split their 2 meetings this season. A spot in the Final Four is on the line in the South region. So it's Tennessee, Purdue at 1:20, followed by NC State and Duke. When we come back, college hockey, a regional, is on the line today at Centene Community Ice Center. We'll get the details from Blues CEO Chris Zimmerman coming up next. It's 10:42. This is Sports on a Sunday Morning, sponsored by Gray Bar.
Jules on Hampton in St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches on site. Jules on Hampton is a premier jeweler with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jules on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks, sports memorabilia, and figurines too. Jules on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa. Call them at 314-752-5000. Jules on Hampton.
What keeps you up at night? If it's a new diagnosis for an aging parent or just being home alone, our St. Louis-based ACM Care can help. They're all in to listen to you, advocate for you, and get you through this. ACM Care is a nonprofit based right here in St. Louis. They've been helping St. Louisans for over 24 years, and they want to help you too. The first call is free. You can reach them at 314-293-0697 or acmcare.org, or Google them. ACM Care will get you care.
Have you scheduled your maintenance for your air conditioner for the summer to assure you and your loved ones that you will have cooling this year? If you have not, definitely do it. This is a great time to start while you're listening to me right now, instead of calling me when it's 100 degrees outside and
put in for Blues tickets for Friday. Hopefully I get them.
I forgot.
It'll be the first Blues game I've been to.
All right, Z is unable to make it. He is in church.
Groceries. It's about the cost of a loaf of bread.
To the Blues, misunderstanding between the team and him. But that's all.
Bart Inman.
So we'll come back and I'll do
Missouri and Illinois, and the only number 314-293-2600. Again. 314-293-2600 or BartInman.com.
Charlie D'Amelio was at the game?
I did.
With an I.
I did. My kids were very excited.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. Come see our waterfront in Wild Horse Village in the new downtown Chesterfield. You have to see it to believe it, and then you will understand why it's the fastest-selling luxury community in all of St. Louis. Our unique modern designs are like nothing St. Louis has seen. Only a handful of home sites remain. Experience the ultimate lifestyle at the waterfront. Visit McKelveyHomes.com today. Hurry before you miss this opportunity.
Broadcasting from the Underlaw Injury Lawyers, Jim.com studios.
KMOX.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer. Gray Bar,
your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win!
make it fit. Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back to the show. We're not going to be able to connect with Blue CEO Chris Zimmerman, but that's absolutely fine. It's Easter Sunday. Spend some time with family, and we will reconnect with him. It is a big, big day at Centene Community Ice Center as Michigan will play Michigan State tonight at 5:30 in Maryland Heights. You can watch it on ESPNU because getting a ticket is near impossible. They did release yesterday at 1 o'clock a handful of tickets at Ticketmaster. I'm sure those were snapped up in about 5 minutes. But when I found out about it, I did put it out on Twitter, Drew, just to make sure that people were aware. But for the first time ever, Michigan and Michigan State are meeting in this national tournament. So you can imagine the excitement in that state and the excitement about all of these fans coming in and trying to see this for their own eyes for the first time. So we welcome them all in, and I'm glad. I hope they're enjoying themselves, probably out at the casinos out there in Maryland Heights and having a good time, maybe catching some live music. Good for them. Michigan State had to rally late in order to be upset by Western Michigan on Friday night, but they found a way to do it. The Spartans were down by 2 goals heading into the third, but they found a way. Michigan State hasn't been to the Frozen Four since they won the national championship in 2007. You know where that was? Here. Frozen Four was here in St. Louis in 2007, and it will be here next year. So maybe this will be a magical time for Michigan State. They are the number 1 seed. Michigan is the 3. We have some great ties to Michigan hockey here with Red Berenson, their longtime coach, and a great St. Louis Blue. Going back to basketball for just a moment, on this women's side, it is going to be fascinating to see if Caitlin Clark and Iowa can upend South Carolina, the number 1 team in the country, undefeated. But before that, they're going to have to beat LSU. And this will be a great challenge. Those 2 teams out of the SEC are big. They're fast. They can shoot it as well as rebound and score inside. They're very well coached. It'll be interesting to see how that comes out. I think Caitlin Clark is the show, but there are a lot of good teams out there. South Carolina is unbelievably good. Indiana, my alma mater, gave them a run the other day on Friday. Gave them a run, down by 22 in the second half, cut it to 2, but ended up losing the game. South Carolina is absolutely tough, and you can see them today. They tip at noon against Oregon State. NC State and Texas will go at 2 o'clock in the women's tournament. And then on the other side, we'll wait until tomorrow to see LSU and Iowa. That game will tip at 6:15 on ESPN, and I have to think that will be maybe the most watched women's game ever. It's possible. I mean, Caitlin's popularity is much bigger now than even it was last year. And it's LSU, the defending national champions, and a lot of attention, a lot of negativity around Kim Mulkey, the head coach of LSU, who claims that she's going to sue the Washington Post. And just, when it comes to journalism, just so you know, the Washington Post, they have attorneys also. So when they publish something, they pretty much make it bulletproof from a defamation lawsuit. But at any rate, you can, speak on behalf of yourself and the newspaper, and that'll go back and forth. I don't see a lawsuit. I'm not an attorney, but I'm just telling you from a journalism standpoint, it's not really how it works. The other one to keep an eye on will be UConn and USC. Gino Auriemma, the legendary coach there, taking on the Trojans. That'll be the late game tomorrow. But you know who's still alive? It does not get enough attention. SLU women are still playing. They're in the WNIT. They have a record now of 19-18, so they will not have a losing record this year, regardless of what happens. And they play Wisconsin tomorrow night in the Kohl Center in Madison, so it'll be tough. But they are in the Elite Eight of the WNIT. And congratulations to the SLU women for making it this far. They've got a tough team, man. And they are going to keep playing hard and keep moving forward. And I think they will be a really good team in the near future. Rebecca Tillett won the A-10 tournament last year, went to the NCAA tournament. That, of course, committee did them no favors by putting up against Tennessee. And they lost that game in Knoxville pretty handily. But, I would keep an eye on SLU, both women and men. And if the men end up, and I know you've heard all the speculation about the talks between SLU and Josh Schertz at Indiana State, but if you want to see a basketball team play at the highest of levels, watch Indiana State play basketball this week. They are in the Final Four of the NIT, and they're going to be playing a really good team. I mean, I'm not saying that they're not good, but if Indiana State doesn't win the NIT, I actually would be surprised. They'll have their hands full against Utah, but I think they'll win the game. It'll be like a home game for them, and they'll probably play Seton Hall, who thinks they also got snubbed, and they did in the NCAA tournament. They beat UConn, by the way. Seton Hall did. They'll be playing Georgia, who they should handle in the nightcap on Tuesday night at Hinkle Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, which I think would set up a great game between Indiana State and Seton Hall in the NIT championship. If you have not seen Indiana State play, you need to do yourself a favor, set aside a few moments and watch them play. Do they defend? Yes. Do they play offense? Oh, heck yes. As good as anyone. They play like UConn, where they do a lot of slashing to the basket. The difference is UConn has a traditional big man, and they do not. Their big man, Robbie Avila, who you may know better as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or Larry Bird, is a passer and shooter and postman all at the same time, and really good at it. But what they do well is Josh Schertz does not call plays except out of a timeout, maybe a sideline play here and there. Mostly he lets them cut. They play a 5-out motion offense. They go get the basketball, and they move away from the basketball as well as anybody in the country. And Jason Kent, who is a 6'8" guard, they play 4 guards. Jason Kent's the key to everything. He's the best cutter in the league, in the Valley, and one of the best in the country. He can rebound, he can score, and when he gets to the bucket, they are super dangerous, and that's why they didn't make the NCAA tournament, is because he got hurt and didn't play against Illinois State or Southern Illinois. If he plays, I think they win those games. That's how good they were, and they'd be in the tournament as we're speaking right now. They might still be in the tournament. They might be in the Elite Eight. I mean, they were that dangerous of a team. So it is a shame, but it is fun for Indiana State fans to see how far they can go. And I think it's fun for SLU fans to watch from a distance. They continue to hope that everything goes through and that they're able to get their man. It's been widely reported that SLU is in talks with Josh Schertz. We'll see what comes out of that. But I think he's a brilliant coach. I think he understands young men. I think he's a good recruiter, understands players. He's won a lot. He won at Lincoln Memorial for years and years. So we'll see what he does with Indiana State. But I'll predict that they're going to win the NIT and take home a very well-deserved crown, and they should have been in the NCAA tournament. By the way, did you tell me that Charlie D'Amelio was at the Blues game, Drew?
Oh, yeah.
Do people know who Charlie D'Amelio is? They should. Their daughters do, I promise.
So I was talking to Carl Middleman, he does some music for the Blues, and he said everybody under 30 knows who she is. Over 30, no clue.
I know who she is.
Yeah.
And I'm 48. But
you're tapped in, though.
Yeah, my daughters are 17 and 13. They've been watching Charlie D'Amelio for years. Charlie D'Amelio basically was the first, TikTok / Instagram star, wasn't she?
Yeah.
I mean, for the most part.
I'm impressed.
Yeah. I mean, and she did, that was when TikTok was about like dancing.
Yeah.
And she had the dance routines and everybody would imitate them. Anyway, she was at the game. And I think, and I would actually talk to Chris Zimmerman about this. He was unable to join us in this segment, but I would say to him, and he knows this, you capitalize on that. I mean, if you are a sports franchise, there's so much competition for eyeballs these days. You have got to draw in young people and sell them on your product. And if you have her there, you push that out on social media, and you do it from now until the end of social media. Now, this is the Taylor Swift effect on the NFL, let alone the Chiefs. You want to draw in a wide audience to your team. And I think the Cardinals are in the process of learning how to do that. The Cardinals are still, make no mistake about it, they are the top dog in this town. And they always will be. They're the Cardinals. But they understand, and Major League Baseball understands, that you have to be able to turn over your audience and bring in young people. How did I become a Cardinals fan? Because when I was a kid, my parents took me. It was a very kid-friendly, welcoming place. And that brought me in. You have to continue to bring in young people, sustain it. And for the Blues to have a mega star from social media like that in the house, I think is something that they will lean on in the future. I'm not sure they're a playoff team, but they are a brand. And they will be good and will be right here in St. Louis for years to come. And they are growing in popularity in the NHL. The Blues are considered a team that a lot of national games, a lot of attention. They're not at the Cardinals level because they don't have those number of championships in years, but the longer they go, the higher they climb. And they're kind of a pioneer also when it comes to Midwestern hockey. One of the first teams south of Chicago, of course, part of the original six, Detroit, but talking about down in this part of the country to grow the sport in this part of the country, very, very important for the St. Louis Blues. That was cool. It was good to see that she was there. All right, when we return next hour, here's what we're going to do. We're going to reset everything that happened yesterday and what you need to see today, and we'll tell you a little bit more about the Cardinals' victory. Then we'll shift gears to City, talk about an organization that is growing through young people. City played last night against Real Salt Lake, took a loss. We'll talk to Lutz Vandersdeel, their sporting director, about that. Then we are going to skip ahead to John Mozeliak. He will join us live at 11:30 this morning on this Easter morning to talk about last night's win, a little bit more about roster construction, injury updates, those kinds of things he always does for us on these Sundays. And then we're going to reach out to Oli Marmol. Now, normally, Oli would join us at 10:15 Central Time, but because of the late game last night, quick turnaround, West Coast time, I didn't feel like it was right to give him a wake-up call. I'm sure he's up, but to make him do something at 8:15 Pacific after a long night, let's give him a little time and buzz him at 9:45 and see if we can get him at that time. But he will be joining us on Sunday mornings once again this season. Back after the 11 o'clock news on KMOX.
Start the new year off right with your best vision for 2024. This is Megan Lynch for Ophthalmology Associates. Now's the time to schedule your
You got a young soul, Tom.
That's what I'm doing for my entire family. The doctors of Ophthalmology Associates are experts in diagnosis and treatment of diseases of the eye. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, Andy Royer, and Samuel Berry. Call for an appointment today, 314-966-5000, or you can get more information at youridoc.com. One of the conditions they can test and treat is dry eye. When the furnace is running, you're at greater risk for dry eye disease. The doctors of Ophthalmology Associates can prescribe the perfect eye drops to prevent and treat dry eye. Ophthalmology Associates is located at 12990 Manchester Road, a half-mile west of I-270 on eastbound Manchester Road. Call Ophthalmology Associates 314-966-5000 or youridoc.com.
Here's something you won't hear from any other jeweler. Right now, when you buy a diamond at Diamonds Direct, we'll give you a free gold setting for it. Yes, a 14-karat classic solitaire setting in white gold or yellow gold at no charge with any natural diamond purchase. So all your money can go toward a bigger diamond while you still get the classic look she wants in that engagement ring. Another example of Diamonds Direct's extraordinary value. Or if you want to take it up to the next level, Diamonds Direct also has a fantastic selection of halo, pave, vintage, 3-stone, and other popular mountains. Or maybe she wants a designer ring, like the one she's seen on social media. Well, Diamonds Direct has those too. In fact, we are an authorized retailer for all the top designers from New York and California. Whichever setting you choose, you'll also be able to choose your finance plan. Diamonds Direct now has a wide range of finance options with attractive rates and terms up to 60 months, so you can get the ideal setting to fit your style with the ideal payment to fit your budget.
Well, he wants you
your
to
love,
ask John
our
Mozeliak
passion.
what's
Store
going
hours,
on.
directions,
Okay,
and more at diamondsdirect.com.
I'm Benjamin F. Chavis Jr. with the good news, brought to you by BetterHelp.
Oh man,
We acknowledge
I
the
didn't tell you about it. A couple weeks ago, somebody called in
U.S.
after the
Department
show.
of Interior
He was like,
Secretary
he was a
Deb
former
Haaland.
Cardinals player.
The good news is that Deb Haaland is the
His
first
name was
Native
also
American
Tom.
to serve
I don't know if you can
as a
figure out who
cabinet
it was,
secretary
but
in the
he's
United
blind
States.
now,
And
he's,
she's already made
he's trying
significant
to figure out
accomplishments
how to listen
to
to the
highlight
Cardinals game.
America's
But I guess he
natural
couldn't listen
resources.
locally or
What's the
wherever
first
he
thing
was
you
because
do
of
if you have
blackouts.
more time in the
So
day? Nap,
we
read,
were just
talk
going
with
through
friends?
like
Knowing
all
what's
the
important to
affiliate
you, it's easy to
stations,
fit
and
it
I was
into
like,
your schedule.
because he was
Therapy
asking
can help you
Alexa,
figure that out.
because
BetterHelp
that's what he has to
offers
do.
affordable
And
online
he's just
therapy.
going through
Start
like
the process
all
in
the
minutes
all the
and
ones till we
switch
finally
therapists
found an
anytime.
affiliate
Visit
station.
BetterHelp.
You said he used to play
HELP.com/good news to get 10% off of your first month. That's the good news. I'm Benjamin F. Chavis Jr. on the USBC Network, brought to you by BetterHelp.
KMOX KECK HD2 St. Louis.
The voice of the Billikens, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Monica Ricks.
I wonder if it's this guy. Do you know if Tom Hurst still
hernia surgery today? Reporter Linda Grabstein has more from Jerusalem.
Netanyahu will be operated on under general anesthesia, and Israel's justice minister will temporarily take his place.
Did you see about that youth soccer player?
The hernia was found during a routine checkup, and the prime minister is feeling well and keeping to his regular schedule.
It'll be his second hernia surgery. First was in 2013. And this comes amid criticisms of Israel's war against Hamas.
I didn't say how old he was, but it has the kid's name.
This Easter Sunday, Alim Makbuls with the BBC.
But apparently he collapsed during the game, and then they took him to the hospital.
Looking at the conflict through the eyes of children, he was talking a lot about how much suffering they have seen.
The Pope also called for a prisoner swap between Russia and Ukraine. Here at home, the focus is on the Key Bridge cleanup.
I'm Peter King. Easter Sunday is no holiday for salvage crews in Baltimore. They've been lifting the first pieces of wreckage from the collapsed Francis Scott Key Bridge.
It's important not just to the people and the workers of Baltimore, but to our national supply chains to get that port back up and running as quickly as possible.
Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg tells CBS's Face the Nation it will be a long process.
This is going to be a very complex process. There are even now forces acting on that steel. So it takes a lot to make sure that it can be dismantled safely.
Peter King, CBS News.
Northern California is getting some spring snow today. Jill Williamson and her daughter stopped to play in it on their way to Vegas.
It's a lot of fun. I don't like driving in it, but I love it.
Meteorologist with the National Weather Service, he says heavy rain and tornadoes could hit further south.
I feel like I have.
Potential for a widespread severe threat.
Yeah, it is.
With the potential for a large hail, wind, damage, and tornadoes Monday into Monday night. And that's going to extend from portions of the southern plains northeastward into the mid-Mississippi Valley.
Starting tomorrow, most fast food workers will get a pay bump in California.
That's
the law there is taking effect, making the minimum wage $20 an hour. Alex Johnson owns about a dozen Cinnabon stores in the state.
I want to do right by my employees, and I want to pay them as much as I can. But this bill, AB 1228, has really hit our operations hard.
He says he'll have to raise prices or lay off workers. And the Powerball jackpot's still climbing and getting closer to $1 billion. The prize now $975 million after no one.
If I was the Ravens, I would just have like a ball more.
CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 11:03, we have partly cloudy skies and 65 downtown at the Arch. Good morning. I'm Scott Jagow. Our top story this hour, a federal appeals court is considering whether Illinois' rule allowing mail-in ballots to be counted up to 2 weeks after an election violates federal law.
Filed the suit challenging that rule before the 2022 election. A lower court threw out the case and Bost appealed to the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals, which heard the case Thursday. An attorney for the State Board of Elections argued Illinois law is in line with both federal law and history, since even during the Civil War, soldiers voted remotely and their ballots were counted weeks after Election Day. Thursday's arguments were scheduled 9 days after Illinois' primary election, where Bost holds a more than 2,500 vote lead over GOP challenger Darren Bailey. The race has already been called for Bost, meaning it's mathematically impossible for Bailey to win. Ballots are still being counted. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
A Missouri community is mourning the death of a youth soccer player. The Waynesville St. Robert Sports Group says the player died after collapsing during a game Thursday. On Facebook, the league shared that Ken Taylor was taken to the hospital but could not be revived. All league games were canceled for Friday and Saturday, and Waynesville's mayor says the town is offering grief counseling for free. Earlier this week on Total Information AM, KMOX followed up with Williams Academy. It's a school that participates in the nationwide All Kids Bike program. Apparently, that conversation with Williams Academy co-founder Yannick Jones was heard by some generous people with resources to help. That would be global engineering firm HDR. They've donated $500,000. It's now making sure that the St. Louis program has 24 new Strider balance bikes.
These children will be able to get around their city
in a way that they want to. We'll be able to explore.
Jara Sturdivant-Wilson is with HDR. She says the project was appealing because it supports the physical, mental health, and environmental benefits of riding a bike. This afternoon, good cycling weather, temperatures around 80 degrees. Overnight, 64. Tomorrow, we could have some nasty showers and thunderstorms late in the day, high of 78. And temperatures are then going to drop on Tuesday, high of 55, but temperatures will fall into the 40s during the day. Right now, 63 in St. Peter's, same in Florissant, 65 downtown. I'm Scott Jagow, KMOX News.
This is the Graybar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Graybar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Now, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back in what has been a very busy sports weekend. Happy Easter for those of you celebrating here this morning. It is great to be with you at 11:06. We go until noon. We got a night game for you. Big day of sports. It actually all times out great. You got Purdue, Tennessee at 1:20. You have NC State and Duke following that at about 4 o'clock, and then that'll roll right into Cardinals, Dodgers at 6:10. That's how I plan to spend my sporting afternoon. How about yourself? There are plenty of options. There's a lot of other stuff going on besides that. That, for me personally, is how I'm going to roll with it, as well as visiting with family and enjoying a nice day at home on this Easter Sunday. We are in downtown St. Louis alongside producer Drew Young, Tom Ackerman. There is a lot going on. Cardinal baseball, first of all. They win. Final score was 6-5 in 10 innings. It was 3 hours, 17 minutes, and a 35-minute rain delay that ended in the middle of the night with the Cardinals celebrating. They pulled off the victory, and this is how it sounded, the final out of the ball game.
One-run game, winning runs at second base. And the pitch to Ohtani is popped up, middle of the infield. Crawford backs up. He's on the grass. He's under it. And he makes the play, and the Cardinals win it. The Cardinals win it. Their first victory of 2024. Giovanni Gallegos and Ivan Herrera celebrating halfway between home and the pitcher's mound, and the Cardinals can shake hands.
They do that. The Cardinals win it 6-5 in 10 innings. You know, had a nice game yesterday. Alec Burleson, he was 2 for 3. He drove in a run, made a terrific play, throwing a runner out for a double play. That happened back in the 5th inning, and the Cardinals outfielder / DH is off to a good start. Here's Claibs.
Let's talk about the offense. First of all, the 2 big hits tonight, and it seems like you're back in the groove again like you were in spring training. Yeah, I think, they have some really good arms over there. And I don't notice that, huh? Yeah, they have some good arms, and no matter how good your swing feels at the moment, they sometimes they're just better. And just being able to realize that and understand that and know that, I'm in a good position and, maybe they were just better than me the last couple of days, but, I'm just super happy for a lot of these guys. I think we all kind of struggled last 2 days and I'm just happy for everybody that came through for us.
Alec Burleson on KMOX. Once again, Lance Lynn with Bally Sports Midwest, Jim Hayes.
It was a lot of fun. First game of the year. You're just trying to, ease your way into it. This is not the lineup for that, loaded the bases up. We had to see if the old dog still had it, and he still does. So we're all right. So, but all in all, my stuff felt good. And when you first start, you miss a little bit here and there, and I was able to correct and not give up a big inning. So
that's Lance Lynn, the big dog, the old dog, as he said, throws 4 innings, no runs, 4 hits, walks 1, strikes out 5. He does have the bases loaded and nobody out to start that ball game, but in the end, his ERA is 0 going into the home opener on Thursday. He will be holding court, and the 37-year-old still rolling along through 70 pitches, 43 were strikes. To follow him, Matthew Liberatore, who had a tough 5th inning but bounced back with a strong 6th, gave up 2 runs on 3 hits in his 2 innings, walked 2, struck out 2. Jojo Romero gave up a run in his 7th inning. Kittredge with a scoreless 8th. Helsley blew the save in the 9th. 2 runs on 4 hits in an inning for Hells, who did strike out 2. And then Giovanni Gallegos able to close the door in the 10th and get, after a very, very shaky finish, he's able to get Ohtani to pop out to end that game, and the Cardinals survive it 6-5 in 10 innings. The Blues, as we mentioned, lost 4-0 to the Sharks. Shockingly, San Jose snaps a 9-game winless skid, and the Blues had a chance to catch within 3 of L.A. for that final wild card spot in the West, because L.A. lost later to Calgary, but the Blues lose that one, and time's running out on them. They have 8 games left, and they are 5 points out of that final spot. College basketball, Illinois gets blasted by UConn. UConn will play Alabama, who outran Clemson. That'll be one matchup in Arizona. The other one will be determined today. I told you my viewing today. I can't wait for it. Purdue will be taking on Tennessee, and then it will be NC State and Duke to follow. The first game is at 1:20 out of Dallas. Utah and Indiana State playing in the NIT on Tuesday, Georgia and Seton Hall. I'll be watching that closely, but the women's championship right now is also hot. Oregon State and South Carolina. Man, South Carolina is unreal. 35-0, followed by NC State and Texas. That'll be today, and then tomorrow it's LSU and Iowa. Caitlin Clark will tip at 6:15, followed by UConn and USC. And keep your eye on the SLU women now. 7 o'clock tip for them against Wisconsin tomorrow in the women's NIT. So much hoops to follow. Football, the Battlehawks off to an 0-1 start. They lost at Michigan 18-16, put a little comeback together, but not enough. They fall by 2, and City lost 3-1 to Real Salt Lake last night on the road. That is the first loss of the season for City. They'll be playing again, though. Lots of games for them. They play a very long season. Sporting Director Lutz Pfannenstiel will be joining us in just a few minutes here on KMOX at 11:15. Glad you're with us. Beautiful day here in St. Louis. We'll take a quick break, come back with more on Sports on a Sunday morning, sponsored by Gray Bar.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been injured in a truck accident, you need the best. Onder Law, voted 2023's best law firm in St. Louis. Our attorneys will hold truck drivers and owners accountable. We stand up to big trucking companies to get you the compensation you deserve. Let us make your case our cause. Truck accident? Call Onder Law today for a free review. 314 or 618-9-million. That's 314 or 618-9 all zeros.
Sick of those annoying ads slowing you down online? Introducing i3 Broadband's 100% fiber optic network with advanced whole home Wi-Fi. With speeds up to 8 gigabits, buffering is so yesterday. Our rock-solid connection keeps you streaming, gaming, and browsing without a hitch, thanks to our ad blocking feature. No contracts, no hidden fees, just pure internet bliss. And we've got a no-risk 30-day money-back guarantee. Dial 877-976-0711 or swing by i3broadband.com/STL. We're local, reliable, and committed to St. Louis.
Says here that Gray Bar is a distributor.
Yeah, we support electrical and datacom projects all over the country.
So you can get me the products I need, where and when I need them?
Yeah, thanks to our national logistics network.
Any industry?
Yeah, construction, industrial plants, schools, hospitals.
So you could say Gray Bar is much more than a distributor.
Yeah, you could say that. When you need a hand powering, connecting, or maintaining your operations, join the thousands of professionals who rely on Gray Bar to help keep them up and running. Yeah, Gray Bar does that.
Schedule your free tree inspection from Gamma Tree Experts now. I'm Tim Gamma. Our certified arborist and horticulturist are ready to meet you in preparation of the coming season. Winter is always hard on a lot of trees here in St. Louis. If you have a tree that you're really concerned about, let us come take a look at it for free. I'm Tim Gamma. Give me a call at 725-6159. That's 314-725-6159. Your trees deserve the best care from Gamma Tree Experts.
When selling your home, you want the most money and the least hassle. That's exactly what you get when you work with trusted realtor Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. This is Debbie Monterey, and selling your home is one of the biggest financial decisions you will ever make, and that's why having an expert on your side is crucial. Other agents know that some sellers will choose the agent that tells them the highest price they can get for their home, and that can be a dangerous strategy. Most of the time, it ends up being empty promises. Gloria Liu doesn't make empty promises. She makes guarantees in writing. Gloria Liu will guarantee to sell your home at your agreed to price and time frame, or she'll buy it. guaranteed in writing. So pick up the phone and call Gloria Lou, 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or online at gloriahasthebuyers.com. Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date. Gloria Lou, your home sold guaranteed realty.
Just imagine being walked all over for 36 years. Who would do that? The great customers of Reinhold Flooring, that's who. For over 3.5 decades, Reinhold Flooring has been the mecca for carpet, hardwood, vinyl, laminate, and area rugs. Reinhold Flooring is customer-driven with a focus on top-quality products and installations from the best team in the business. So come on in and walk all over your next flooring at Reinhold Flooring. Visit them at 5429 Telegraph Road in St. Louis or online at reinholdflooring.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
At Onder Law, we deliver big judgments for the little guy. Onder Law takes on the biggest industries and holds them accountable. Call today for a free review at 314 or 618-9-MILLION.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back to the show. Last night in Salt Lake.
Nudge it to the sideline, rescued by Vasilev. Indy going to work, stepping over into the box, takes a shot with the left foot, he scores! Oh, Indy Vasilev! Oh, baby! City leads! First of the season, side shelf, 3rd minute, 1-0 St. Louis.
Indy got him going, but unfortunately, they had to hold that lead throughout, and they were unable to do so until the 70th minute. They did, but then Christian Arango, he scores not once, not twice, but 3 times, and Real Salt Lake pulls away with a 3-1 victory, first loss of the season for City. Joining us is sporting director Lutz Pfannenstiel with City. Lutz, thanks as always for being with us on KMOX.
Yeah, good morning. You see, now today I'm in Florida, not you anymore, so we exchanged positions, though.
Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah. Well, now that I'm here in St. Louis, I was bringing a little luck to you. Now you took a loss. So the first time without points, so it was a good run up until then. Let's go through yesterday. Tell me what happened here. Did you just run into a good player in Arango, or did you run into a good team in Real Salt Lake?
Well, I thought, we started off well. I mean, the dream starts going up 1-0 after 2.5, 3 minutes. Obviously, got a little bit too passive in the second half. And yes, they are definitely a good team, and Arango is definitely a very good player. But let's be also fair about 2 things. Arango shouldn't have been on the field anymore because there was definitely a red card when he punched Thomas Totland at a corner kick. It was reviewed, was not given. And then also the penalty for the 2-1. When you're sitting with the referees for 2 or 3 hours in preseason and they explain you the new rules, that exactly that is happening, and you don't, you listen to that, and then exactly a penalty like that is given, which is supposed to be not a penalty, then it's very annoying. But then again, Tom, that's something to talk about, but no excuses. They were better than us in the second half. They deserved to win. We were not good enough, and we need to work on that this week.
Yeah, the officiating is one thing, and I'm going to get back to that in just a minute. But yeah, that first half, it just seemed like you're up 1-0, but trying to make it 2-0 was a challenge. It didn't seem like there's a lot of connectivity between players. Am I right about that? It just didn't seem like the passing was on early.
Yeah, it was. I think the first half, I was not disappointed with the first half because we didn't really give too many chances away. We were not always disconnected on the counterattacks. There was just the last pass missing, but going 1-0 as a 1-0 lead at halftime, that's something definitely you can build up. I mean, LAFC also lost in Salt Lake. That's a difficult place to play. But having that lead, we just have to be a bit smarter with game management. We just have to not make individual mistakes and be a little bit clearer on the way forward. And that was yesterday, in the second half, not what we were looking for.
when it comes to officiating, there's not much that you can control there. It is what it is. But now that they did have their new contract ratified, does that make a big difference in Major League Soccer? Will that, and is this still early for them, or do they come right in and do the job as expected? How do you see MLS officiating right now as we stand?
I mean, first of all, I think we all have to be happy that there is a solution and there is an agreement, and we have the top referees back, in their line of work. So that's a positive. For us yesterday, it didn't make much difference, to be honest, which is disappointing. But yeah, they didn't referee a few games now. I think they also need some time to come back in. That's all normal, And again, any referee out there is a human being who makes mistakes. That's fine. So we can talk for hours about that. But in the long term, I think it's great that there is a solution. This agreement is going on now, and we will have some good refereeing hopefully coming up in the near future.
How is Nielsen doing? I know he's out with a broken rib, and that is not an easy thing to come back from.
Yeah, it's a pain, how resistant you are to pains. I mean, it's definitely difficult in the start, but it got much better over the week. Just have to monitor now this week, and with Joachim not playing, of course, a key factor is missing there. But then we have other players who need to step up. So there is other teams which have 5, 6, 7 injuries, and they need to go through week in, week out. So 1 or 2 players out, obviously it affects every team, but we just have to pull through that.
Yeah, you've been the comeback kids is what I coined them. They just have been so good at coming back in games. You almost expected them to do the thing yesterday, but in the end, Arango, and you already talked about what you perceived to should have been a red card, ends up getting the job done. Meanwhile, if you look at the standings right now, you still are in plenty of good shape. I mean, you're right in the middle of the pack. I know you're listed as 10th, but you're in a 3-way tie for 8th with Portland and LA. Of course, you'd love to have had some of those 3-pointers earlier. You got a bunch of 1-pointers, though. You're right there. FC Dallas is off to a tough start here. They have lost 4 games as opposed to just 1 win. You'll be taking them on this Saturday at City Park, Lutz.
Yeah, we're 3 points away from second position, so it's very tight early on, which is expected. The Western Conference, I think, will be very tight the whole season. And Dallas, don't get too carried away looking at the table. I mean, they bought players, striker, for $10 million from Croatia. They are a good team. They just didn't have the right start yet, so we need to be very well aware of their potential and of the level they have. But then again, it's 2 home games coming up, and losing that unbeaten streak, of course, is not great. But it's a challenge now for us to make up for that. Especially at home in front of our fans, having these 2 games coming up, and work hard this week and try to really get the 3 points next weekend.
Yeah, how do you teach? I mean, there's. Of course, when you play a game like this, there's always like, gosh, we should have given more. Or you hear comments from players, we should have had more intensity. We should have had more urgency. I mean, to replicate that in practice, that's just a mentality on game day, isn't it? That's something that needs to be reinforced on game day. I know Bradley Carnell has been able to do that here over the last year plus.
Yeah, it's always easy to say after the game, we should have done that as a player, or this should have been better, or this should have been more. It's not about talking, it's about doing. So it's better for us to keep on doing the things on the field, just be quiet off the field, work hard during training, and get our confidence back. Because talking about it doesn't make things better.
No, certainly not. So before we go, just let people know kind of how this week of practice works for you all. So obviously you're shut down today after playing yesterday. And for that matter, what is your observation of the week as you train? How does that work in terms of ramping up for another game? Because you have to have a combination. It is a long season. You have to make sure that you keep everybody healthy, but also keep everybody moving forward.
Yeah, it's early days, but nevertheless, we need to get back to the basics, which made us good last year. So I think looking at film, looking at videos early on the week is extremely important to see what exactly could have been done better, what we've done wrong, where we have some certain things to improve. And then, of course, it goes for like 4 days, every day on the field to prepare for Dallas, specifically about Dallas, which we already looking at their tapes as well. And, it's a normal week. It's very important not to lose the composure and start now because we lost one game doubting everything what we're doing, because that's the worst one. If you start to panic, there is no reason there yet to panic. So I think we just have to start to really work together, believe what we're doing, and then do it. When the end of the day, Tom, we need to work hard on the training field. The way you train is the way you play. That sounds very easy, but simply that's the way it is in all professional sports, and that's what we have to work on this week. You have a good coaching staff, you have a great head coach, you have a talented squad, and that is what we have to focus on the next few days.
What is up for City next? They will be taking on FC Dallas. That will happen at City Park at 7:30. What a weekend that's going to be, Lutz. Jeez. I mean, you've got the Cardinals are in town. You've got the Battlehawks, I do believe, Drew. Aren't they going to be here on the 6th? You've got, so much going on. Plus City playing at City Park. That's the way you wanted it. When you heard about St. Louis, you knew what kind of a sports town we were.
Yeah, definitely a great weekend ahead for everybody. Let's hope that everybody gets a good performance on the field, get some W's, and have a better weekend than the last one.
Yeah, no question. They will be taking on the Battlehawks will at 7:00 at the Dome, Arlington. City will be playing at home against Dallas, and the Cardinals will be playing at home as well. They're going to be playing on Saturday afternoon against the Marlins. Thanks as always, Lutz. We appreciate these visits. Always great to chat with you.
Thanks, Tom.
Lutz Pfannenstiel, sporting director of St. Louis City SC. His team drops one to Real Salt Lake 3-1. When we come back, John Mozeliak's team was a winner last night. They won 6-5 in 10 innings in Los Angeles. We'll reach out to the Cardinals president of baseball operations next on KMOX.
Hey guys, Glover here from my friends at the Ophthalmology Associates. We are pleased to welcome Dr. Samuel Berry to the practice. Dr. Berry is a cornea surgeon with the latest knowledge and techniques for advanced eye care and treatment in the field. So what do we call them now? The doctors? No, just the best doctors to see for the best vision in St. Louis. Call 314-966-5000. We have treated more than 250 doctors, more than any other practice, which is why we're called the doctors, right? So I have been to see Dr. Birdie. My daughter Phoebe has been to see Dr. Birdie. We both love him. We thought the experience was fantastic. We have 3 locations with 3 great office staffs. The smiles are genuine. The concern is real. You will sit across from a doctor and have every single question you have answered, whether it's about a new prescription for your glasses or it's about LASIK surgery or cataract surgery. Just call 314-966-5000 or visit youreyedoctor.com for Ophthalmology Associates.
KMOX Weekend at your service, sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation.
My best friend Jimmy came over for coffee, said it's cold enough in here to play hockey when my furnace broke and it's already late. Call Jimmy Kelly cause they're open till 8, JimmyKelly.com. They'll be here quick and have you feeling good, JimmyKelly.com. Cause your furnace will be running like it should. They're certified technicians, I've been told, will help you when it's hot and help you when it's cold, JimmyKelly.com. They're fast and they're good and they got it going on, JimmyKelly.com.
I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. Come check out our new LaSalle display and our final phase of Inverness at Bryan and Feisey Road in Dardenne Prairie. We will build to order or select from one of our designer market homes ready to move in at substantial savings, including our luxurious former display home. This professionally decorated ranch is loaded with features and has over $100,000 in savings. Plus, get special financing starting in the 4s. Hurry to take advantage of these deals. Visit McKelveyHomes.com today.
Jewels on Hampton in St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches. Bring your collectibles and clocks, sports memorabilia, and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa. Call them at 314-752-5000. That's 314-752-5000. So if you need some extra cash, looking for that one-of-a-kind piece, make Jules on Hampton your first stop. Jules on Hampton in St. Louis Hills.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. In the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. The ugly truth is when you buy a timeshare, you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. I recently helped a couple that had their maintenance fees go from $800 to $3,200 a year. They also received a $4,000 assessment for a hurricane that was over 1,000 miles away. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is this never ends. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. Call 800-329-2121. That's 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121.
Tuesday, March 19th through Sunday, March 31st. Enter for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see Jeff Lynne's Electric Light Orchestra, the Over and Outdoor, September 6th at Enterprise Center. Enter by going to the KMOX contest page. Click on the Jeff Lynne's ELO contest link. Enter your email address and click submit. Winners will be randomly picked at the end. Jeff Lynne's Electric Light Orchestra, the Over and Outdoor, September 6th. Tickets are on sale now.
The Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates are pleased to welcome Dr. Samuel Berry to the practice. He joins Doctors Birdie, Malhotra, Brasati, and Royer as the Doctors' Doctors. 314-966-5000 or youridoc.com.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
11:32 Sports on a Sunday morning on KMOX, and we welcome back to the show Cardinals President of Baseball Operations, John Mozeliak. Always great to have you, and happy Easter to you and your family.
Yeah, happy Easter to you, and nice to have a win under our belt finally. So great way to start Easter.
How about that W last night? The things were aligned one thing after the other to stop you from getting that job done, but you got it done. That was a gritty win by your team.
Yeah, it would have been a tough one to lose, right? Given the fact that all the different resources you used throughout the night to set it up, and unfortunately, weren't able to close it out in the ninth. But to your point, it was just a gritty game, and Gallegos came in huge for us, and to get that run across in the 10th was big, and needless to say, it was a breath of fresh air for our group.
Yeah, 5-run 7th inning in which all kinds of things happened. Walk, hit by pitch, catcher's interference, balk. They threw it all out there, and then the double by Donovan. Plates 5, Dodgers come back. Boy, the Dodgers are good. I mean, obviously we know that. When you see them now in person, John, what is your impression of what the Dodgers have built here?
Well, look, seasons are long. You're going to have a lot of ups and downs, but I think the one takeaway right now is you probably have one of the hottest hitters on earth with Mookie Betts. So, trying to navigate that is difficult. And then when you have Ohtani followed by Freeman, it's a lot going on in the lineup. So, obviously very impressive, and needless to say, I mean, they have a lot of powerful arms on that club, and they're impressive, but still like our club, obviously lots of things can happen. You're just, every team sort of goes through some certain ebb and flows. For us, we're not at full strength right now. We have a lot of guys on the IL. Hopefully as we get into April and get to that midpoint of the month, we'll start to get some guys back and get closer to full strength. But one thing I've learned in this business, it's, very rarely are you at full strength, but, for us, it was, guys are getting opportunities right now, and hopefully they can make the most of it.
Yeah, you always tell us the roster in April is not the roster you're going to see in October. Sonny Gray, let's start there. What are you hearing out of his 3-inning simulated game, and what's next? Is he going to AAA?
I would think next step will be a rehab assignment. I'll get with the staff. either today or tomorrow to determine next steps, but that's kind of where we're leaning, yes.
He was your big signing in the offseason. You had a number of signings. He's the big one, 3 years, $75 million. And once he comes in, that is a big change to the rotation, no question about it. The other one, of course, you look at this staff and, losing Keenan Middleton, I think, is a big deal. Is it as bad as once feared? Was it feared to be a really bad injury? Where do you stand with Keenan and his forearm?
Right now, we're pretty encouraged where he's at. So, I think he'll start advancing his work to where he can get on the mound here shortly. And then from there, we just have to determine how long it's going to take to build him up. But that timetable hasn't been set. But, right now we're fingers crossed that he can get back to where he was prior to the injury.
Drew Rahm dealing with that biceps injury. And then you look at your trio of outfielders. Certainly it feels like Lars is a lot closer than the other two. If you could lay it out for us, Nootbaar, Edman, Carlson.
Yeah, so I think Carlson is going to feel a lot better here in the next few days, and then we'll get him back into a swinging and throwing progression and then have a better idea on his return. Right now, Lars is ramping himself up, so he should be a couple days away from getting on a rehab assignment, so that's encouraging. And then Tommy Edman, I think he is getting to the point where he's getting his strength back, and once he gets to a certain threshold there, then he'll be cleared to hit, and I do anticipate that in the next week or so.
John Mozeliak with us on KMOX. You know as well as I do, this fan base, they see the Dodgers and they want the Cardinals to regain power in the National League. They want to climb back. It's not you're unable to do what the Dodgers do, to write that many checks and acquire that many. But how did you view the offseason and free agency? Was it a two-way street, John? I mean, I know you looked right. You got Sonny Gray, Lynn and Gibson, and I talked about some of the others. Is it a two-way street in free agency? Do pitchers also need to want to come to St. Louis to make something happen?
Well, I think what you're seeing in the evolution of modern free agency is a lot of players have certain desires to where they want to be. That's not to say that wasn't happening 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago. But, there are, as the games become more global, there are certain players that are attracted to certain cities. And I think that from just a pure competitive standpoint, that's going to be difficult for the Cardinals to compete in that regard. But, I still think St. Louis is a very desirable place to play. And, if we can get back to our winning ways, I think it'll continue. So to answer your question, I think that ultimately what we were trying to accomplish this past offseason was not necessarily to outbid somebody just to get someone to come here, but what we were really trying to do is find people that wanted to be here, could bring some presence to what we felt we needed in our clubhouse. And, to some degree, I think we saw that last night with Lance Lynn, just a little bit of that competitive fire. I think that helps our club. I think that's what we needed. And, I certainly appreciated what I got to see out of him last night and what he brings to that clubhouse.
He certainly looks rejuvenated for sure. I mean, look at, the Mets, it did not work out for them last year. The Padres went crazy and it did not work out for them. You'll be facing them next. I wanted to ask you about facing Mike Schilt and actually, for that matter, Oli Marmol, your manager. You'll have the last two managers you hired squaring off. Just your emotions and feelings when you see that.
I look at it as a baseball game, Tom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know what else you want me to say. I mean, it's business. People make decisions, and ultimately, I have faith in Oli and what he's doing, and certainly we're going to approach tonight's game as most important. And then when we flip the script to tomorrow, we'll worry about tomorrow. But I don't think you go into it like with some sort of preset agenda because of who's managing or who you're competing against.
No, I totally see that. And I thought that would certainly be the case because that is an example of baseball and the business of it. And you have a staff backing Oli Marmol that I know you're very happy about. I did want to ask you about, a lot of fans ask me about Yadier Molina and kind of where that current situation is with him. I know that at some point he will be advising and helping this club.
Yeah, and he is someone that we're in touch with, but right now he is asked to be allowed to deal with some things at home, and that's what he's going to do. And, from time to time, I can pick up the phone. I do imagine that he'll probably do a tour of our minor league system here in a little bit. But again, great resource to have, and any way we can tap into it, we're going to take advantage of.
One more thing. I've learned a lot through spring training that you throw spring training stats in the trash, and that works both ways, whether it's pitching or hitting. But Paul Goldschmidt, his numbers weren't very good, and he came out on fire in that first game and actually drove in your winning run last night. Your look at the former MVP, Paul Goldschmidt, and for that matter, Nolan Arenado on the other side, John.
Well, I think Goldie was working on some things in camp. Clearly, I think even he would admit to this, that you are looking to have a little more success than perhaps he did. But, just the way he goes about it, both he and Nolan, they're just very consistent in their process. They believe in their process. So, is guys like that typically end up having success because they know how they're going to go about it. And, I think in Goldie's case, it was nice to see him get off to a nice start on that opener. Ultimately it's about winning games, but, his contribution throughout the year, I think, is going to be something that we're all going to be grateful for. And I think in Nolan's case, he wants to reestablish himself as that elite player in the game. And so, I think both these guys had really good off seasons. Spring trainings, as you point out, sometimes it's a good compass for what you may do, and sometimes it's not all that helpful. And hopefully in Goldie's case, it's not a reflection on how the year is going to go. But these guys are pros; they know what is expected of them, and they know what's expected of themselves, and so they're really great anchors to have on a team.
Yeah, you do, and with that combination of that young group with Gorman and Walker and Wynn and Scott, not to mention Zach Thompson, who is in your rotation for the moment. It is interesting to see that combination and how that all works together. I know the ebbs and flows of the season are underway, and a good win for you last night in Los Angeles. Good luck. You have a chance to get a split here in LA.
That would be awesome. We would definitely take that.
Appreciate you. Thank you, John. Happy Easter. John Mozeliak, Cardinals president of baseball operations, with us on KMOX. It's 11:42. Quick timeout. We'll come back. A quick word from our good friend Ron Edgar, and then we have Oli Marmol is going to join us, the Cardinals manager, in just a few minutes on KMOX.
Broadcasting from the Underlaw Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX. Hey folks, this is Charlie Brennan. Have you noticed loose bricks or missing mortar around your house, on the walls, patios, walkways, porch, or chimneys? If so, this might be a great time to call Morelli Tuck Pointing. What's tuck pointing? It's the removal of old mortar and the replacement of new mortar on a wall or chimney. Sometimes that mortar can become loose, missing, or deeply eroded. We've used the Morelli team to tuck point the Brennan home several times, and in fact, this winter, we noticed the bricks that line the ground near our porch in the backyard had gotten out of line and looked pretty cattywampus. One call, Morelli Tuck Pointing, the job was done. Morelli's the company that's won the Angie's List Super Service Award every year, back to back to back, since 2005. Check out their reviews on the Google, Angie's List, and Better Business Bureau websites. The Masonry Specialists, 314-645-1387, MorelliTuckPointing.com.
What keeps you up at night? If it's a new diagnosis or an aging parent or just being home alone, our St. Louis-based ACM Care can help. Their RNs will listen to you, advocate for you, and get you through this. ACM Care is a nonprofit based right here in St. Louis. They've been helping St. Louisans for over 24 years, and they want to help you too. The first call is free. You can reach them at 314-293-0697 or acmcare.org, or Google them. ACM Care will get you care.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free. with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit, hims.com/joy.
The final days of the construction sales event are going on now at Audi Exchange Kirkwood. Stop in today and choose from hundreds of new Audis. And right now, take up to 10% off MSRP and get special low-rate financing on our great selection of new Audis. Coming soon in April, we're excited to introduce the all-new Audi Exchange Kirkwood, complete with over 35,000 square feet of nothing but Audi and a new attitude. Visit AudiKirkwood.com.
Former pro football offensive tackle Mitch Schwartz knows for a guy, buying jewelry is a daunting task at most stores, but not if you go to Diamonds Direct.
It's very simple and very easy process for a guy to go in there and not be overwhelmed.
Mitch found Diamonds Direct and has been back many times buying jewelry for his wife, Brooke, and he's never felt any pressure.
They're going to educate you about what you're looking for, what the diamonds are, how the process works.
At Diamonds Direct, we respect both you and your budget.
I think everyone's kind of searching for value. You don't want to be taken advantage of, and Diamonds Direct is leading in that regard. You're going to feel really comfortable there. You're going to have a good time. You're going to find something that looks amazing and that you're going to get the best value for it.
So if you're worried about getting sweaty palms when you walk into a jewelry store, relax. Take Mitch's advice and enjoy the experience at Diamonds Direct.
We have definitely recommended Diamonds Direct to friends, to other teammates. Everyone else who has been through there has had as awesome an experience as we have.
Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Get directions, showroom hours, and more at diamondsdirect.com.
Now the Manager's Chat, presented by Siteman Cancer Center. Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer care.
And we are joined by the Cardinals manager, Oliver Marmol, from Los Angeles. Wow, are you? Have you recovered from last night? That was some game. My goodness, congrats on a hard-fought win.
No, I appreciate it. That was definitely a tough one. Guys came through. It was a heck of a lot of fun. I'll tell you that, though.
I bet it didn't seem like a lot of fun after that rain delay. They don't have a lot of those out there, I don't think.
No, they haven't practiced with that tarp a whole lot. I'll tell you that.
No, they haven't. So that mound was a bit of a mess, I'd have to imagine. But Lance Lynn before that made a mess of the Dodgers. He was really something. And I know that we've talked about this before. Him shouting out, showing emotion. That's kind of the fire that you needed. But you needed those four-seamers and those fastballs that move around a little bit, didn't you? 4 innings scoreless, 5 strikeouts for Lance.
No doubt, and I'm not sure what it felt like watching it from your angle, but being in that dugout, he brings such a competitive edge and fire, and it's contagious, man. He's out there yelling, he's doing his thing, he loads the bases, he punches out 3 in a row, comes back in that dugout, and you feed off of that. And that's a tough team across the way. Yesterday was a ton of fun, just competing and watching the guys do what they do best.
I watched Matthew Liberatore follow him, and I actually thought, I know Libby's line doesn't look it, but I thought Libby looked like he was throwing with authority. I mean, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. Obviously, it's a great team that you're facing over there, but Matthew Liberatore, especially when he came back in the 6th to help you out.
Yes, with authority is well described. He's confident in what he's doing right now. Ball's coming out well. He came in after that first inning, and I asked him, how do you feel? I feel really good. You can ride me as long as you want today. And, just he's bringing a certain level of confidence, and his stuff looks good. So he's going to be a big part of that bullpen. I'll tell you that.
They have such a good team over there. We know that with all the MVPs and Yamamoto with his 5 scoreless yesterday, but even the superpowers can fall apart. And that 7th inning, Joe Kelly on the mound, the former Cardinal, and things just started to unravel for them. And you took advantage, didn't you?
Yeah, we were able to take advantage, and that was a big part of that game. Some oddities and the Bach and a couple others, but at the end of the day, we're able to put some runs on the board. Donovan swung the bat well. So yes, it was fun to watch.
How do you see your outfield right now? Burleson makes a big play. Ciani makes a big play as well, both in right field yesterday. And then, of course, you're rolling Victor Scott out there every day in center field with Donnie out in left. Just you're hanging in with 3 potential starters sitting on the shelf right now.
Yeah, that part with Eddie being out and Carlson being out and Newbar, who's getting close. A big part of our emphasis this spring was in order to win, we got to play good defense. And we've done that. Burleson made a nice throw yesterday. Then we pinch run Siani. And then he goes out to right field, makes a nice sliding catch. Victor's done a nice job out there. I mean, all the way around. Day before, Mason wins diving play in the hole, finishing that double play as well. I mean, there's a lot of good defense happening at the moment. And in order to get to where we want to get to, we have to continue that.
What did you see from your previous two starters, Miles Michaelis and Zach Thompson? Obviously, you were amped and ready to see them go 1-2 to start the season. We know it's the Dodgers, and perhaps more starts, you'll see those numbers improve. But how did you see the ball coming out of their hand?
They threw well. They got beat by a good team, but they threw well. And they did what they needed to do. All right. Like Miles pounds the zone. That's his thing. He's going to go ahead and get ahead of guys. He got ahead of everybody and got beat on a couple pitches. I mean, that's a really good offense. There's not a whole lot of holes across the way. I thought Thompson did a really nice job. I mean, commanded his secondary stuff, landed the slider, the curveball, used his fastball appropriately, got a couple homers hit off of him. But at the end of the day, if he does what he did a couple nights ago throughout the course of the season, he'll be just fine.
You'll have Steven Matz going today against the Dodgers, and you could earn a split. I mean, I look at this thing like a 7-game playoff series here. You've got, you could win this thing 4-3. You got to be feeling great about that if you could come home with 4-3 or even better.
Yeah, we're looking forward to tonight. I'm really looking forward to seeing Matt's pitch. He had a good spring. He's healthy. He's feeling strong. Ball's coming out of his hand really well. They got some lefties in that lineup. It'll be a really good matchup for him. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
One more thing, and I talked to John Mozeliak about this. I asked him this question. His answer about facing Mike Schilt, last two managers he hired going head-to-head, he said, hey, this is baseball. I see a baseball game, and that's the way I see it. And I expected that answer from him. It's business-like for John Mozeliak moving forward. You'll have your old friend and somebody that you worked with, Mike Schilt, in the other dugout. Oli?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him. He does a really nice job. I'm really glad he's getting an opportunity over in San Diego, and he'll do well. But definitely looking forward to getting to San Diego, playing that 3-game set, and seeing everybody over there. But no, it'll be great.
Well, congratulations on the win last night. I know this has been some start to the season for you, and you got a chance to take 2 out of 4 and then go into San Diego with some positive momentum. Good luck tonight. As always, we love having it on KMOX, and we love these visits on Sunday mornings, Oli.
Appreciate it, Tom. Thank you.
Thank you. Great to spend some time with Oli Marmol, the Cardinals manager, on KMOX, and thanks to Siteman for being along with us for our chat with the manager. Joining us on the line, someone else who knows a lot about baseball, and that is Ron Edgar, who is part of the Greater St. Louis Amateur Baseball Hall of Fame Board of Directors. He himself is in the UMSL Sports Hall of Fame. Ron, how you doing? Thanks for hanging on. We had the Cardinals skipper there. Hope you learned a couple of things about the team.
Yeah, always willing to learn, right?
Yeah,
never too old.
No, definitely. Let me ask you first your thoughts on the Cardinals before we go into a big announcement for your organization. What do you think about the club so far, and how far can they go?
Well, I think, like we said before, they go as far as their pitching takes them. I was a little disappointed in Michaelis's performance, but okay. I mean, he still hung in there. And Thompson, I really liked the way he threw the ball. He made really 2 mistakes, and they both left the park from the same guy. But other than that, he's okay. I mean, he's a good guy. And I think that, and when you get Lance Lynn, who did what Lance Lynn does, he gets himself in trouble and he gets himself out.
Yes, he
I mean,
does.
he's not going to be intimidated by anybody. So I think they'll be okay, but they're got to get Gray back. You just got to get that horse back and go from there. And then after that, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, that's a good point. Sonny Gray is going to be back soon. Ron Edgar, you have a big event coming up, the Greater St. Louis Amateur Baseball Hall of Fame. Your event is going to be fast approaching, and I know that you have this is your 50th, by the way, Amateur Baseball Hall of Fame dinner. It's going to be Thursday, April 18th. Tell us a little bit more about it and the history of it.
Yeah, it's the 50th anniversary, which is a big deal. Started back in 1974, believe it or not, and it cultivates with the 50th anniversary this year. We have 880 members in the Hall of Fame. I mean, that's quite a list. and some great players in there and coaches. And but it's been such a great run, and I continue to say this. It's probably the most popular awards banquet consistently every year in the St. Louis area. I mean, we come close to selling out, 450 to 550 people every year, and it's just a real testament to St. Louis, and to the talent we have in St. Louis. So, but yeah, we're real excited. We're doing a couple extra things, and but the 50th anniversary is nothing to shake. Well, it is something to shake your head about. It's really pretty nice.
Am I allowed to say who the Jack Buck Media Award winner is?
You can, or I can say it, but have at it.
Go for it.
Well, yeah, the 2024 Jack Buck Award will go to John Rooney this year, who's the announcer for the Cardinals, the play-by-play on the radio. And I couldn't think of a better guy to get that award. As you know, it's a prestigious award, and John is certainly deserving of that.
Thursday, April 18th is the Amateur Baseball Hall of Fame dinner. Ron, how can people get tickets?
Well, you can go online at the STL Amateur Baseball Hall of Fame.com for information. We've already sold 450 tickets, and we have about 50 remaining. So if you're interested in going, and it's at the Sheraton Westport Chalet, in their great ballroom there, which is a great place. You've been there. It's really, they do a nice job. And, but if somebody wants to go there, they've already get going because it's going to sell out. So, but as of today, we have 50 tickets remaining.
Wow. STLABHOF.com. Bob Ramsey is going to be the MC for that. Our very own Bob Ramsey.
He's going on I think it's almost his 20th year.
Yep.
And, I mean, we've had you involved a little bit here and there too. So, yeah, Bob's done a great job. He really does a nice job.
It's a great time, and I appreciate all that you do for baseball, Ron. Thanks so much for being with us today.
My pleasure. Thank you again.
Ron Edgar with us, Sports on a Sunday Morning on KMOX. Thanks to all of our guests, John Mozeliak, Oli Marmol, as well as Lutz Pfannenstiel. I'm Tom Ackerman.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychic